let's talk a bit about how Tentacle works with MQTT and publishes to Mantle, our MQTT data aggregator, which will be this part of our cloud architecture right here. So Tentacle automatically publishes its tags to an MQTT broker, and Mantle subscribes to all of the MQTT data that's published to the broker for consumption by our user interfaces and the database, and also stores historical data. So we'll look at our Tentacle user interface here, bringing this up on the screen. And here you can start and stop the PLC. Restarting the PLC loads the current version of the program. You can also restart, which is this button. And then we got dark mode, which is nice for working at night. And you can see the current running code here. And so we're gonna move this aside, bring up our AnywhereSCADA.com. That already has our MQTT broker set up. So we'll log in. And then we'll create a space, which is just a new instance of Mantle to consume our MQTT data. And while that's building, we'll go ahead and configure Tentacle to use MQTT. So open up the code server environment in a new tab. And I'll just copy in the template for the MQTT config I already have. And then we'll need the username and password for our AnywhereSCADA space. Just copy the username in here. And the MQTT password. And then we also need the username. We're going to paste it, the Mantle dash the username in the primary host, and that lets Tentacle PLC do store and forward per the Sparkplug-B specification. And then we'll restart, which will load that in, and you'll see right here we have MQTT publishing to AnywhereSCADA, and you can see the data coming in. Now we'll go ahead and add a new tag. We're going to create a simulator that simulates a process value that looks a little more realistic. We'll have a randomly generated number that fluctuates around a larger number, and that'll make it look kind of like a real process value. So we're going to build this class here, simulator class. There's a couple ways to make classes in Tentacle. This is the simple way. The other way allows you to publish an entire class to MQTT. But for this purposes, we'll just use the simple way. Just build a class right into the program that's running in our task. So we'll make a simulator that every time we call the simulate next function, it'll generate a new random number and give us a kind of a trend that looks kind of realistic. Now we'll instantiate an instance of our simulator, and then we need to create a global variable. We'll call that one process value, and change the description. Let's add some decimals. That'll make it show it shows up with only 2 decimals on the screen in our Tentacle user interface. And now that we've created the global variable, we can set it to the new value of our simulator every time this program scans. Now we save it and restart our PLC, which will load the new code. And now you can see our process value came in. And let's see, we can see it in AnywhereSCADA, it's updating there. And then if we go into the history, you can see some graphs of the values coming in. We're going to add some new things here to AnywhereSCADA. Right now it just kind of shows you the last 15 minutes of any value that's being published to this space, but we're going to add some configurability so you can disable and enable charts and change the ranges. We'll keep going over the features of Tentacle PLC in future videos, including the GraphQL API and also Mantle. Stay tuned.